Good morning, everybody. This is Angela again, and I am a Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. This video is kind of exciting. This is the third video that we'll be posting on my channel ever, and I've decided to start an official segment. I thought it would be kind of fun. This video will be going up on Monday, and so now every Monday I am going to have a video that will be my favorites, and I'm gonna choose a different kind of topic each week. So maybe it's my favorites by a particular artist in a specific genre, maybe there's a specific theme to it, maybe it's album, song, video, whatever it is. So today is going to be my top 10 favorite K-pop albums ever in the whole history of K-pop albums. So side note here, a lot of these albums are going to be the repackages, simply because you get more songs for your buck. I feel you get more songs on the album, and typically with repackages I really like the repackaged song as well, so why not include that? So here we go, let's get started. So first I'm gonna start off with the runners-up, the albums that I absolutely love but they just did not make it into my top 10 for whatever reason. So I've just got a couple of those. I'm gonna run through them real quick. The first album I have is Roy Kim's Love Love Love. I love this album. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorites all throughout spring and summer, and really any time of year, but especially those seasons. The reason that this album did not make it on the top 10 is because the songs all do sound very similar, like they have very similar vibes. So while it's a super cohesive album, it's one of my favorites to just put in, listen to all the way through, or listen to the songs on repeat. The songs themselves don't really stand out piece by piece as much to me, so the album isn't necessarily rememberable to me in that way. It's just one of my favorites to play on loop because the music and his voice and the whole vibe and feel of it is absolutely beautiful. The next album that didn't quite make it into my top 10 is the U-Kiss Neverland album. This is U-Kiss's second full-length album. This album came out right after they had their little bit of a change up with their lineup, so they had some new members. So as far as full-length albums go, this is an absolutely phenomenal one. I think it has a great variety of songs. It's got a couple ballads, it's got some great dance songs, really great variety, but when mixed them together and in this order, I think they're really great, really fun. It is a bit of an older album. I don't listen to it as much anymore. I kind of have some more current updated songs that I prefer to listen to, but still a really great album. Definitely, if you are a U-Kiss fan, this is probably one of your favorites. This is a cult classic, if ever there were such a thing in the world of K-pop and K-pop music. So really great album, just didn't quite outbeat the ones that are in my top 10. Alright, the next album, and you all might be surprised that I like this album a lot, but it didn't make it into the top 10. I feel like if you're into this album, it's gonna be one of your absolute favorites. This is 2NE1's To Anyone. This is 2NE1's first full-length album. It's absolutely phenomenal. When this came out, it was my favorite album at that time. Like, it was just so crazy good. Definitely one of my favorite albums that year. Again, this is kind of, I put this kind of in the same boat as U-Kiss. They came out around the same time, these two albums. They're both very, they're not techno. They have a very digitized sound to them. It's a very it's a very time-specific sound, I think, in K-pop. Like, you can really pick out a lot of the songs that were made in this time. Again, they've got some ballads, they've got some upbeat dance songs, they've got some kind of chill songs. Every single song on this album, excuse me, every single song on this album is a standout, is a gem on its own. Several of these songs were #1 on the charts in Korea and other countries around the world as well. So it's just a really great one. Again, I just don't listen to it that much anymore because the songs do sound just a little bit dated, but they're still really great for when you want to have a dance party while you're cleaning your apartment or something like that. So again, this is another, I'm going to call it a cult classic, but if you're into K-pop, you probably know this album. The last album that didn't quite make it into my top 10 is Psy's 7th album. I love Psy. I have been a fan of Psy since forever. If you are a fan of Korean hip-hop, you probably also love Psy for the rest of his music and not just his title tracks. So this is such a great song. It's everything I love about Psy. It's got his great composing, it's got a good variety of music, it's got a lot of great feature artists showing off their variety of talents. So you have vocalists in here, you have rappers. It's just a really great all-around album. Some of my favorite songs, well, of course, Dream with JYG's Junsu, because as you guys know, I am a Cassie, so totally biased on that one, but I think that they contrast each other so well that like the feeling and the emotion of the song really comes out. I Remember You with Zion T, of course, Ajushi Swag. Again, every song on this album is absolutely fantastic. Another great album by Psy. I think the only song that I've ever not really cared for by him was that like Snoop Dogg one. I wasn't super into, but okay, so moving on to my top 10. I'm not going to list these in any particular order because I don't think I could, honestly. Like, a lot of these albums are really different. They have a lot different feel or vibe, or they're even different genres from each other, and so I'm not really sure that I could rank them like in order from 10 to 1. So I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna show them to you guys, tell you what I liked about them, and what I'm still loving. Tell you what. So I'm just going to show you the albums and tell you what I loved about each of them. So the first album that I have on the pile here is Four Walls by FX. This is such an amazing album by FX. I think this is that album by them that really, I think, is the most complete out of all of their albums. Like, every song in here is FX. It just is. I think a lot of their older releases, they had those really standout songs, and then they kind of had some filler in there that were still just kind of like, not quite there. But this entire album is fantastic. It kind of got like that retro vibe to it. Obviously their outfits are very retro in here as well, very 90s. I love it. The songs are really upbeat, but they're still kind of chill. They're absolutely phenomenal. Poppy is probably my favorite song on this album. It's great. And every girl is featured so well. All four of them shine in their own parts. So this is just a phenomenal album all around. I highly recommend it. And I want to take the time to apologize for my hair, that I'm constantly doing this to it. I didn't really style it at all today, and so like this was me at work all day. I was just doing this kind of motion, getting it all to one side, because it's whatever. Anyways, moving on with my list. The next album that I have in here is Super Junior's Special Album Part 2. This is, of course, the repackaged Magic. This album is so awesome, guys. As a big Super Junior fan, this hit all the boxes for me. Not only does it have those big sounded title tracks with all of the members in it, but it also has songs from their subgroups, and I love the Super Junior subgroups. I think they have so much personality. They all have their own little quirks. So not only do you have Super Junior Cry and Donghae and Eunhyuk, those more well-known ones, but you also have some that I haven't heard from in like forever. You have Super Junior Trot in here. You have Super Junior Happy. I mean, like, it's amazing. You really can't go wrong. And even with there being all those songs from the subgroups in there, there's still there's just such a variety, but they still all fit together because they're all fun songs. Like, even Super Junior's Cry songs somehow still manage to sound fun. Like, what is up with that? How do they do that? I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, every song in here is fantastic. Super Junior has fantabulous vocals. Yes, that's my favorite made-up word, fantabulous. They have fantabulous vocals. The way they're layered, it's just a really unique sound that you can't find anywhere else in K-pop. So, yay! This is a great, great album. The next album I have on my list is SHINee's Hello. Of course, this is the repackage of Lucifer. It was their second Korean studio album. Absolutely fantastic. again, it kind of comes from that same era of like You Kiss and 21. But SHINee has always had this kind of like underlying, slightly retro, slightly classic, like you can't really put a timestamp on their music as easily as you can some other things like this Super Junior album. You know, you could line up all the Super Junior albums and pretty much guess the year that they were made in. Like, they're pretty time-stamped in my opinion. But SHINee songs are different that way. Like, they just always, like, they could have come from this year or that year. They're just timeless, if that makes sense. Maybe it makes no sense. It's just me rambling. I'm so sorry. Don't pay any attention. But it's such a great album. And the songs are really funky. Like, SHINee has some of the best vocals in K-pop. And they just are layered so cool. One of my favorite songs on this album is Up and Down. I don't think it gets enough love. They all have like their own individual parts and then they start getting layered on top of each other and it really builds up to this awesome, like bombastic, quirky, electronic noise. But it's a song. It's really, really great. So yay! Yay for SHINee. Alright, the next album I have, I don't actually own a physical copy of. I own a copy of it on my phone. I just have never, for whatever reason, purchased the actual album itself. So the next album I want to talk about is by MFBTY. This is their most recent album. This is Wonderland. The one I want to talk about though, the album I want to talk about today though is their album The Cure. It's pretty much got the same packaging as this from what I've seen. It's blue. But we're not really here to talk about the packaging, we're here to talk about the music. So The Cure, MFBTY, of course, which is Yumire, Tiger JK, and Busy. Such an amazing album. It's hip-hop, but it has a little bit of like reggae vibe, heavy vocals. There isn't as much going on musically as I feel like there usually is in a lot of hip-hop songs to kind of lift up the rap. So the rap and the vocals are really the focal point. Great messages in each song. They're really uplifting but fun and just like the album is called The Cure, and for me it literally, it's almost like a band-aid. So when you're having a down day you can just listen to that album and it's just beautiful. Beautiful Life, The Cure. The most popular song off of this album, of course, is the You Gotta Go, 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 Go. Oh my gosh, what is that song called? Guys, I'm totally having a brain fart right now. I cannot remember what that song is. You know, it's the one where JK kind of looks like Jesus and there's like the space guy and the robot tiger and it's super awesome and I just am mind blanking. You know the song I'm talking about. If you don't, if you just type in MFBTY, I'm pretty sure it's like one of the first 5 videos that pops up. So great album. Again, definitely one of my favorites. I personally tend to like my hip-hop a little lighter, focused more on the lyrics and less on the everything distracting from the lyrics. Isang is also one of my favorites. Sorry, my neighbor must be doing something. I don't know. Anyways, Isang is another one of my favorite Korean hip-hop groups. Their albums are all incredible, especially Asurba Volta, which is like $500 used. It's crazy talk. Y'all, it is crazy talk. But that's another kind of example of this genre of hip-hop within Korea. It's one of my favorites. Again, it's kind of light, focuses more on the lyrics and the rap, and it's just so well edited and produced, so yay! The next album on my pile here is actually another hip-hop album. This is Epic High's Shoebox. Again, Epic High, one of my favorite sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Again, another one of my favorite Korean hip-hop artists. Just, I think everyone knows this album. It is absolutely fantastic. It deserves all the attention it got when it came out. The music is beautiful, the lyrics are beautiful, each song stands out on its own, but as a whole the album is very cohesive. I just absolutely love it. I'll be back. Let me see if this calms down. Alright, I think we should be good now. Quickly to finish this album up, some of my favorite songs off of here are Amor Fati and Born Hater, obviously. Love that song, but really every song is fabulous. The Happen Ending, all those, absolutely great. The next album that I have sitting on my pile here is The Shinki's Neurotic. I mean, this wouldn't be Angela is a Cassie's List without a No Shinki album or two. So this is my favorite album. The songs on here I think are so classic. This came out before Korean pop music got really electronic. So kind of in reference, G-Dragon's absolutely fantastic album, but very like kind of electronic heavy album. Heartbreaker. Oh, guys, this is just not my day for remembering things. Clearly, Heartbreaker came out the year after this. It came out in 2009. This album came out in 2008. It's still got a lot of musical influences from like older, before it became a huge worldwide sensation style K-pop. But it's still like the really clean vocals and the classic melodies I think really make it a timeless album. So it's so great. Oh, I can't say enough about this. And I would list my favorite songs, but they're all my favorite songs, so what can I say? I think like all of this album, like every song off of this album is in my top 100 most played songs list on iTunes. It's that good, guys. This album is that good. If you are into really like electronic dance hip-hop kind of music, you probably are not gonna like this album. But if you like more classic kind of R&B, like 2000s as a whole kind of Korean pop music, this, you probably already know about this album, and I don't have to tell you how fabulous it is. We're just gonna continue on through the nailing or whatever that guy's doing, because I've waited and it's not settling down. And I don't think anyone's moving in. Like, I think the same people are still living there as when I moved in. So, anyways. Next album on my pile here, this is Jaejung's WWW. This is the repackage, removing the makeup. The songs, like the repackaged songs, are crazy beyond beautiful. Heaven with Gummy is it's like in the top 10 of my most played songs on iTunes. I love that song beyond belief. Yeah, like every song on here is amazing. Of course, it has all the original songs that were on the WWW album, as I think there were 3, maybe 4 more songs in the repackage. They're all beautiful. For those of you who haven't listened to this album, please go out and do it. There are a lot of ballads, but there are also a little more maybe R&B-ish songs in here. Jaejung has this great, rich, very versatile voice, so it's a really cool album to listen to, kind of just focusing on the vocals as well, because there are a lot of really light, airy vocals from him, but he can go lower and more gravelly and a little grit in the voice depending upon what he's going for, and it's just beautiful. Okay, next album on my pile here is Bangtan's Young Forever. Out of all of the newer K-pop groups that have come out kind of really since like 2012 or 2013, Bangtan is one of my favorites. I think they do a really good job of kind of bringing the hip-hop, bringing the hip-hop, y'all, bringing hip-hop and rap in with great melodies, great vocals. Their music always has a fantastic balance to it. It's just really fantastic. Every song on here is well produced. every song on here also stands out on its own. Like, you can listen to it and in the first second you're like, oh, it's that song. It's, you know, it just has, each song has its own identity. Each song is so individually well crafted. And of course this is like the, what do you call it, the compilation album, I guess. It's got a lot of remixes on it. It is 2 discs. I really probably don't need to tell any of you watching this about this album. And of course it has Save Me and Fire on it as well. Every song on here is crazy good. Even the ones that don't have music videos, that they didn't actively promote. Silver Spoon is one of my all-time favorite songs to put in, like, when I'm driving on a car ride or something like that. This album is absolute gold. This music does not sound like a newer K-pop group to me. Like, this is just crazy well done. Alright, I probably don't need to talk about that any longer because y'all are probably already in the know with it, but the next album on my list is Athens' debut album, Play. They have released an album since then that I did, of course, purchase and really like as well, but this is just, like, for a debut album, this is so well polished. This music is like nothing else on this list here. It has definitely kind of like an indie, almost like a folksy kind of vibe to it. Every song is like upbeat and playful, just so well done. They're fun, they're tasteful. This is kind of like Roy Kim's Love 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 that I mentioned earlier in this video, but I think the songs on here stand out more as individual songs than the song on that album did. It still has that same light, airy, everyday listen to kind of feel to it. Again, this is another one of my favorites. In like the spring, summer, you know, sun is shining and the sky is blue and you can close your eyes and envision yourself in like this grassy field and trees, and you look really hip with your, you know, they're cute. Like, you can picture yourself wearing those outfits and someone's playing a guitar next to you, and it just, I think the song, album is everything trendy. Like, if there was a Tumblr album in this list, I feel like this would be it. So Tumblr. The last album sitting here in my pile is 2AM's Saint O'Clock. I own the special edition, which just basically is a box with the regular edition in it and additional little goodies. This album, guys, I love ballads. I love slower, softer songs just as much as I love my upbeat songs, and this album like gave it all to me. They're all really soft, soulful songs, but they all still, again, they stand out individually. Like, the songs are just so unique. Like, one might have more of an electronic vibe, one has, you know, is a little more soulful, this one has this feature artist on it. And just the album as a whole is fantastic. I can put this on shuffle, like after I get home from work at night and I'm cooking supper, or I'm going through my skincare routine and I'm getting ready to calm down and slide into bed for the evening. And this is just the perfect album for that. This came out in 2010, and I listen to these songs just as much now as I did when it came out. So this is absolute gold. This too, I think, is what K-pop has, I think, kind of gotten away from a lot of. When you look at older K-pop music, when I first started getting into K-pop, I first started getting K-pop when YouTube came out, so in 2005, and this is kind of what was topping the charts then. Like, a lot of these more soulful songs, a lot more ballads used to be topping the charts, and given those ballads would be usually done by like individual people, or it was a collaboration with another vocalist, but it's beautiful, and the album is black like my soul. So that is that. Alright guys, so this has been my first ever Monday favorites. This was my all-time favoriteest K-pop albums ever of all times that were ever times video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you were able to hear about at least a couple of albums that maybe you hadn't before, and maybe you even saw a few of your own favorites on the list. So let me know in the comments below what your absolute favorite K-pop album is, because there's a lot of K-pop albums out there. Like, I haven't listened to them all. So I am always eager and wanting in recommendations for what I should be listening to next. So thank you all for watching. This was Angela, and I'm a Cassie. See you later.